What is up, Starseeds? It's Sid, and today we've got an astrology video. So I haven't talked about astrology on this channel in quite a while, and that's just because I haven't been diving into astrology as much the past couple years, honestly, because I dove deep when I first got into astrology and spirituality and philosophy during my big major spiritual awakening a few years ago. I dove deep into all these different cultures. So if you want to know about Mayan astrology or Egyptian astrology or Native American or Celtic or Chinese or Tibetan or Vedic or Draconic or Western, check out my channel. So this video is going to be about Western tropical astrology, Vedic sidereal astrology, Draconic astrology, but in particular, the housing systems for all of these. So you've probably heard of placidus, which is generally used for Western astrology, and whole sign, whole housing system, which is generally used for Vedic, Indian, Hindu astrology. And then there's also equal housing system, which I use in my astrology reports that I do for people for all of these types of astrology. I use equal housing system for Western, Vedic, and Draconic, the three main types of astrology that I use that use the 12 zodiac signs. Now, it's super important to point out that there is way more than just these main three housing systems for astrology. There are so many different types of housing systems, and in the description of this video, I might leave some links for you guys to check out. But if you go online, I'm sure you can find for yourself too websites where you can compare your birth chart using all of these different types of housing systems, and especially these main three that we're going to be talking about today, which is placidus, whole, and equal. So let's start off with placidus. Now, this is generally used for Western, as we said. If you go on, CoStar, Snapchat, really any website or app, generally they're going to give you your birth chart using Western astrology and the placidus housing system. This is just general. And it's good. I like it. I don't necessarily have anything against it. I just prefer the equal housing system. And I'm going to tell you guys why. So placidus, your houses aren't all 30 degrees. They're different depending on your location, your time of birth, all of that, right? And using placidus, like I said, not all of the houses are 30 degrees, so you can have what's called interceptions. Now, this is when, for instance, using Western astrology, I'm a Virgo rising. So my second house is in Libra, but it could be in Virgo. I could have, let's say, 2 houses in Virgo, and then I might have no houses in Taurus or Scorpio. So then I would have Taurus and Scorpio intercepted in specific houses. So you can have interceptions. Interceptions are when you don't have houses that start with a specific sign. If you look at your chart and you see, there's no house that starts with Taurus, then there's going to be no house that starts with Scorpio, and you're going to have Taurus and Scorpio, what's called intercepted. Now, using the equal housing system and the whole housing system, this doesn't happen. If you're, let's say, a Virgo rising, your second house is always going to be in Libra, your third house is always going to be in Scorpio, your fourth house is always going to be in Sagittarius. It just goes consecutively throughout the zodiac. The next house is the next sign because they're all 30 degrees. It's not like your ascendant starts at like 5 degrees Virgo, and then your next house could start at 20 degrees Virgo. No. If your first house starts at 5 degrees Virgo, your second house starts at 5 degrees Libra. Your third house starts at 5 degrees Scorpio, and so on and so forth. Now, this is why I like the equal housing system, because it is simpler, so it's easier for people to understand if you're doing astrology reports for people. However, I also just think it makes more logistical sense. I think it tells more about your soul when you use the equal housing system. Just from personal experience in analyzing charts, I think interceptions are accurate. However, I think it's more accurate without them, if that makes sense. I think to get the most accuracy, you use placidus and you get your interceptions, but I think, in my opinion, equal house is better if you're picking one over the other. However, in my perfect astrology world, you look at both and you don't pick one over the other. But if I have to pick one, I'm for sure going with equal house. That's my opinion. However, I still use placidus sometimes because I do think it's good. What I don't like is the whole housing system. And the reason being is simply because I think equal house is a bit better. This is the only reason why I don't like whole housing system. It's not that I don't like it, it's that I think equal housing is a lot better because of one major tweak they made, right? So, whole housing system. If you are born at a certain time, I was born at 12:46 a.m., right? So, if the zodiac signs switched in the sky at 11 p.m., and that's close to when you're born. So let's say you're a Virgo rising and it switches to Virgo at 11 p.m. and then it doesn't switch to Libra until like 2 a.m. that day, okay? So if I'm born at 12:46 a.m., it's going to put my rising all the way back at that 11 p.m. mark instead of my 12:46 a.m. on the dot. The whole housing system will push you back. Now, sometimes it doesn't affect you. Let's say you were born at 12:01 p.m., so it only puts you back a minute, you know? And I'm just throwing out these numbers. This isn't how it is. This is just like an example, okay? It doesn't use your exact time unless your exact time so happens to fall when it crosses over to the next sign. Do you see what I'm saying? However, in the equal housing system, it uses your exact time. This is that minor, major tweak that was made, okay? So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. That's why I use equal housing system, because I like when the houses are equal. It just makes sense to me. And I like that it uses your exact time and not a close approximate time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're interested in an astrology report, please email me. My email is sydalexandriaegypt@gmail.com. Peace out.